he holds your gaze, he's saying this without words. The psychology of silent attraction. You've felt it before. That quiet moment when someone looks at you and suddenly everything else fades into the background. The noise of the room dulls. Time doesn't stop, but your awareness narrows until it's just you and him, suspended in a glance that feels heavier than words. It might have lasted only seconds, but somehow it lingered longer than entire conversations ever could. And afterward you wondered, was it nothing or was it everything? Because eye contact is one of the oldest forms of human communication. Long before we learned to speak, we learned to look. And when a man holds your gaze, truly holds it, he may be revealing more than he realizes, not through rehearsed lines, not through text messages, but through instinct. Today, we're going to decode what that silent moment really means. Not the fantasy, not the movie version, the psychology, the biology, and the truth about what he's communicating when he doesn't look away. 1. His attention is a choice, and attention is the most valuable currency. We live in a world built to fracture attention. Notifications interrupt us. Screens compete for our focus. Conversations are often half listened to while minds drift somewhere else. So when someone gives you their undivided attention, not for convenience, not by accident, but by intention, that is not a small thing. That is a decision. Eye contact requires commitment. It requires him to stop scanning the environment, to stop searching for alternatives, to stop preparing his exit, and instead to stay present with you. Psychologically, attention is deeply tied to attraction. The brain naturally prioritizes what it finds meaningful, rewarding, or emotionally significant. When he keeps looking at you, he isn't just seeing your physical appearance, he's prioritizing your presence above everything else, competing for his awareness. You can often tell the difference immediately. A distracted gaze moves quickly. It flickers. It searches for something more interesting. It drifts toward phones, doorways, or passing strangers, but focused eye contact is steady. It returns to you again and again, even when there's no logical reason to maintain it. It's his nervous system quietly saying, "You matter enough for me to stay here." And this is important, because attraction isn't only about beauty, it's about captivation. Many people are beautiful, but very few people hold someone's attention effortlessly. When he holds eye contact, he's revealing something fundamental, not just that he sees you, but that he chooses to remain with you. That choice is the beginning of connection. 2. Eye contact reveals vulnerability, and vulnerability is risk. Most people underestimate how vulnerable eye contact truly is. Looking directly into someone's eyes removes distance, it removes protection, it exposes emotion in real time. Micro-expressions, fleeting signs of fear, interest, uncertainty, or hope appear and disappear in fractions of a second. And when someone is looking closely enough, those signals can be seen. This is why prolonged eye contact can feel intense, because it removes the illusion of emotional safety. When a man maintains eye contact with you, he is allowing himself to be read. He cannot fully hide indifference. He cannot fully hide curiosity. He cannot fully hide attraction. And on a subconscious level, he knows that. Human beings instinctively avoid vulnerability unless there is perceived reward. We protect ourselves from rejection by limiting exposure. We look away to regain control. We break eye contact to regain emotional distance. So when he doesn't look away, he is accepting that risk. He is silently asking a question. Will you meet me here? Not verbally, not explicitly, but neurologically and emotionally. There is also a deeper cognitive process occurring. When someone is drawn to you, the brain begins trying to memorize you, your expressions, your reactions, your emotional responses. It's not just attraction, it's imprinting. He may not consciously realize he's doing it, but his attention lingers because his mind is gathering information. It wants to understand you. It wants to predict you. It wants to know whether the connection is real or imagined. This is why those moments can feel so charged, because they are moments of mutual evaluation, two nervous systems trying to determine whether trust, safety, and attraction can coexist. And in that moment, his stillness is not emptiness. It is exposure. 3. The body speaks before words. Ever-do attraction is not only psychological, it is physiological. When someone looks at a person they find attractive, measurable changes occur in the body almost immediately. Heart rate subtly increases. Breathing shifts. Neural pathways associated with reward and motivation activate. Even the eyes themselves change. Pupil dilation, the widening of the dark center of the eye, is an involuntary response controlled by the autonomic nervous system. It occurs when the brain encounters something emotionally stimulating or appealing. This reaction cannot be faked consciously. It is the nervous system's way of increasing visual intake, literally allowing more light in, allowing the brain to see more clearly what it desires to focus on. In simple terms, the body opens itself to what it values, and prolonged eye contact amplifies this process. Studies on interpersonal attraction have consistently shown that mutual gaze increases feelings of closeness, emotional intensity, and perceived intimacy, even between strangers. Why? Because eye contact activates parts of the brain associated with self-awareness and emotional processing. You become more aware of yourself, more aware of him, more aware of the space between you, and this awareness creates energy. This is why eye contact is one of the most universal forms of flirting. It communicates interest without commitment. It tests possibility without risk of explicit rejection. He can hold your gaze longer than socially necessary. He can watch your reaction. If you look away immediately, the moment ends safely. If you hold it, even briefly, the connection deepens. No words required. When he holds your gaze, he is giving you something rare. His presence, his attention, his uncertainty, his hope. And in that silent moment, he is waiting, not for permission to speak, but for permission to feel understood. Deeper meaning. What he truly wants you to know. Beyond attraction, beyond curiosity, beyond instinct, eye contact communicates value. In evolutionary terms, sustained eye contact signals confidence and emotional availability. It demonstrates that a person is not hiding, not retreating, not disengaging. It says, "I am here, fully," and that message carries weight in a distracted world. Because attention is limited, it is constantly pulled in every direction, and most people rarely give it freely. So when someone gives it to you willingly, without distraction, without urgency, without escape, it means something. It means you have interrupted his internal noise. You have become more interesting than his thoughts, more compelling than his surroundings, more present than his fears. This does not guarantee love. It does not guarantee intention, but it does reveal awareness. It reveals that in that moment you existed clearly in his perception, and clarity is where all connection begins. The difference between attraction and performance. Not all eye contact is equal. There is a difference between a gaze that connects and a gaze that performs. A genuine gaze feels relaxed. It is fluid. It breaks naturally and returns naturally. It is accompanied by subtle warmth in the face, softness in the eyes, openness in posture. It does not feel forced. A performative gaze, on the other hand, often feels rigid, overly controlled, held too deliberately without emotional flow. Connection feels mutual. Performance feels one-sided. Your nervous system can often detect the difference before your conscious mind can explain it. Because humans evolved to read. subtle signals of intention and safety. This is why the emotional tone of eye contact matters more than the duration itself. It's not just how long he looks, it's how it feels when he does. Why these moments stay with you. You may forget entire conversations. You may forget exact words, exact timelines, exact details. But you rarely forget how someone looked at you when they truly saw you. Because those moments activate emotional memory rather than factual memory. They are stored differently. They are stored in the parts of the brain associated with meaning, not information. This is why a brief glance can replay in your mind for days. Why you analyze it, why you revisit it, why it lingers. Not because you are imagining something, but because your brain recognized significance before logic could explain it. The truth most people miss. People often search for certainty in words. They analyze messages, timing, tone, frequency. But words can be edited, filtered, rewritten. Eye contact cannot. It is immediate, unfiltered, instinctive. It reflects emotional state faster than language ever could. When someone holds your gaze, their brain has already made a decision their mouth hasn't yet expressed. And sometimes that silent decision is the most honest signal you will ever receive. The next time someone holds your gaze, don't rush to interpret it. Don't immediately look away out of habit. Stay present. Notice how it feels, not just what it might mean. Because attraction doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it appears quietly, in the stillness between two people who haven't said a word yet. And sometimes the most honest thing someone can offer you is simply the courage not to look away. If this resonated with you, reflect on a moment when someone's gaze stayed with you longer than expected.